The three-day holiday weekend is quickly approaching, and on the heels of that, we're tracking the first possible 100-degree temperature. It is that time of year. I'm ABC 10 Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods. Now we're on the back edge of a fire event, at least the elevated risk of rapidly spreading fires for Northern California. We're still dealing with a touch of that throughout the central part of the valley with our fire weather watch in place through tomorrow evening. Again, we are going to be looking at a few of those small scale changes coming our way, one of which is going to bring down the fire danger ever so slightly. Not much going on throughout California right now in terms of rain or snow, and that's why we start to pivot to an elevated fire risk, especially any type of wind event that we get or heat. Now we kind of have a couple of weather systems moving in from the Pacific. These will each kind of dot the forecast with periods of some light breezes coming in, and that will keep us out of that 100-degree threshold. We'll see that breeze kick in for our Thursday evening. Southwest winds typically will favor a cooling trend as well as higher humidity, bringing down the fire danger. Those southwest winds continue into our Friday. In fact, Friday is going to be one of the coolest days for the next several days, and it will lead into that holiday weekend where we see a little bump in our temperatures, but overall we're going to stay pretty close to average. So Thursday, with our heat and holiday timeline, we have the afternoon breeze kicking in, leading into our Friday with slightly cooler weather ahead. For the holiday weekend, sunny skies slightly above average, but the big heat is still looming deeper in the forecast. Next week will be near 100 by the time we get to our Friday outlook, the way that things are playing out right now. There's a lot to watch with tracking the heat risk as well as the potential for an elevated fire risk. Our weather playlist is always on ABC 10 Plus. Want to download that now wherever you stream for free on TV. We've got our extended forecast as well as weather explainers and our weather and climate specials. It's a really great tool to have, especially as we start to dig deeper into the summer season. Not only do we deal with the heat events, but also the risk of those fast spreading fires. Looking at our major reservoir supply levels, just simply because we are heading into the unofficial start to summer and everything is full. It's high and looking really good. So if you've headed out the past couple of years to the reservoirs, they might not have looked similar to this. Last year we were pretty close, but everything is well above average. So if you're kind of comparing it to what they usually look like this time of year, it's going to be a little bit fuller, meaning there may be some areas where they're coming up to the tree line for some of those reservoirs. A really pretty situation right now, but if you're swimming over there or boating, watch out for some hidden dangers, especially with some of those trees that just kind of pop up around the shoreline. Our central reservoir supply levels also well above average. San Luis, that's at off-stream pumped reservoir, 70% full and 95% capacity. Our river temperatures are still terribly cold, especially for some of those American River below Folsom, just due to some releases. That's going to stay cold, as well as Tuolumne near LaGrange, only in the 50s, and that really can result in quick forming hypothermia. Starting to warm up for the Sacramento River into the upper 60s. San Joaquin at Stockton is going to be 71 degrees. So again, those are a little bit more comfortable, but still can be quite cold to the body jumping in. Sierra and Foothill waters 50 to 60 degrees, and then Lake Tahoe water temperature kind of fluctuating right around the low 50s right now. Looking at our rundown of temperatures, we've seen some periods of some warmth build in here throughout the course of May. Our warmest days being the 9th and 10th, where we hit the mid 90s, not quite to 95 degrees yet. In fact, we have yet to hit that this year. We'll be tracking it, though. With those areas of some warmth, though, we continue to track kind of that low-lying fire danger. So it's really poignant throughout the valley and towards the coast, starting to kind of move into the foothills and the Sierra. That's a situation that we'll continue to watch, especially because that can result in bigger wildland fires, whereas right now the biggest risk is going to be those low-lying fine fuels of grasses and brush throughout the valley and towards the coast. But soil moisture is, again, continuing to dry, just with going day after day without anything coming in from rain or snow from Mother Nature. And so we're just dealing with surface water and any of those deliveries that are needed this time of year. It's been 52 days since we've seen rain above 1/10 of an inch for Sacramento Executive Airport. March 30th was the last day that we saw rain above 1/10 of an inch. We've seen kind of spits of rain here and there, but overall, we are starting to end that wet season pretty rapidly. By the time we get into June, we only see about 1/4 of an inch, and usually we barely see that in the month. It won't be one just dump of rain. We'll see kind of hits and misses of some rain coming in. July and August, even into September, we see less than 1/10 of an inch for the entire month, and that just elevates, again, the risk of any fire, considering that we also see those temperatures come up as well. Our average high by the time we get to June is almost 88 degrees. It's close to 93 in July, close to 92 in August, and again, still dealing with periods of warmth in September. Again, we have yet to hit 95 degrees, but it looks very likely we'll be hitting that in our 10-day forecast. The average first day of 80, we were a little bit ahead of schedule, as well as 85-degree day. We were pretty much right on the money for that first 90-degree day. The first 95-degree day is May 26th, and again, we have yet to hit that. The first 100-degree average day is June 11th, and it's looking like we're going to be a little bit ahead of schedule on that. In the short-term forecast, we had this little bump in heat on our Wednesday, and then we get that cooling breeze that's going to knock down those temperatures slightly into our Friday forecast, and then we're going to be slightly above average for the holiday weekend. Nothing too extreme. In fact, it's pretty close to average, just a couple of degrees above it by about 2 to 5 degrees. That's about it. But again, a little bit cool on that Friday forecast, and then we're right back to almost near average through the holiday weekend. What a lovely way to spend a 3-day weekend if you have that 3-day period off. The reason that we're kind of keeping that high in check is, again, we have low pressure systems moving in from the Pacific, just periodically bringing back that onshore flow. We'll keep this high pressure ridge in check, at least temporarily, through the weekend. What happens into next week is we really don't see favorable storm track situation that will keep those lows from moving in. Instead, they're going to be bumped farther and farther to the north, giving access to a pretty strong high pressure ridge building in by the time we get into next Friday. That's going to bring big heat, sinking, warming air, and near 100-degree temperatures. This time of year, those records for May are kind of flirting around 100, but a likely warmer scenario setting up across the west, as well as a likely drier one as we wrap up May and head into June. Still trying to wrap my head around the fact we're almost through the end of May and into Memorial Day weekend. Highs in the 60s for our Thursday outlook, 70s to right around the mid-80s as we head throughout the foothills. For the coast, we're looking at a cool 62 degrees for San Francisco, and we will get access to some of that cooler air coming in for our Friday forecast. We're already starting to see those temperatures come down into our Thursday, because Wednesday we've got the warmth, and then by Thursday we're starting to see a little bit of that cooling trend in place. Again, that continues into our Friday before we start to see a little bump in temperatures over the holiday weekend, but nothing too extreme. Lovely for the mountains. Lake Tahoe should be beautiful, a little chilly in the morning, 30s and 40s, but afternoon highs in the 60s and 70s. For the foothills, highs will be in the 70s over the holiday weekend. And again, for the coast, a little bit on the cooler side. We tend to see a lot more fog formation for the coast than, say, for the valley, where we tend to start to suppress some of the fog formation coming in. Our 3-day forecast will call for the little drop in temperatures on Friday, and then heading into the holiday weekend. Again, we come up slightly, but you'll notice we're around 85, 87 degrees, not too far off the mark. But it's right on the heels of that we start digging into some of that heat. That is our first 100-degree temperature that we're putting on our extended forecast. It's certainly one to watch heading into next week.